dependent origination of consciousness. Now though one's eye be intact, yet if the external forms do not fall within the field of vision, and no corresponding conjunction of eye and forms takes place, in that case there occurs no formation of the corresponding aspect of consciousness. Or though one's eye be intact and the external forms fall within the field of vision, yet if no corresponding conjunction takes place, in that case too there occurs no formation of the corresponding aspect of consciousness. If however one's eye is intact and the external forms fall within the field of vision, the corresponding conjunction takes place. In that case there arises the corresponding aspect of consciousness. Hence I say the rising of consciousness is dependent upon conditions, and without these conditions no consciousness arises. And upon whatsoever conditions the rising of consciousness is dependent, after these it is called consciousness whose arising depending on eye and forms is called eye consciousness. Now when you are reading like this, you will be noticing immediately, like you have the say eye or ear, there's an object, and then these two have to come and your manasikara has to come, and all three coming together, consciousness arises. Okay, you know they are not one thing. They are like parts or components. You have the ear, you have this thing, and all coming together only it arises. So when you are already mentally picturing like that, the idea of a self will start to break. Now this solid thing you are seeing or feel, like we have got so used to, mentally only you can see it is not so solid as such. It is kind of building blocks put together. They are building blocks. So now even this consciousness and its small, how it functions, when you begin to mentally picture like that, in your mind this idea of real nature of anatta will start to come. It will come in your mind. It won't come as more of your awareness develops about this process. Okay? So this is what you are using this for. Hence I say the rising of consciousness is dependent upon conditions. Without these conditions, no consciousness arises. And upon whatever conditions the rising of consciousness dependent, after these it is called consciousness whose arising depending on the eye and forms is called eye consciousness. Consciousness whose arising depending on the ear and forms is called ear consciousness. Consciousness whose arising depending on the olfactory organ and orders is called nose consciousness. Consciousness whose arising depending on the tongue and taste is called tongue. Now when you are reading, you must use this to navigate your mind, your attention. Okay? So when it says tongue, you must picture suddenly your own tongue right here. That is the way it's done as a meditation. When it goes to consciousness who's arising depending on the body, then you know it's the entire body in the form of touch. When the tactile this thing you're getting. Consciousness who's arising depending on the mind and mind objects. That's with the brain. Okay, you take it as that. Whatsoever there is of corporeal reality on that occasion, this belongs to the group of corporeality. So whenever that experience happens if you take the slow motion, with the ear and the object, then only consciousness comes. So if you really want, because we are always used to being conscious. Only when we fall asleep only, that's we go into a kind of so if you really want to know, think that you're hearing nothing and then start to hear. You see nothing, then you start to see. You're blind, you're completely dark. Then when you're slowly opening, then how it comes so fast, it happens so fast. Okay? So that you can't see like this when it's happening. No, that's not the way. We begin to see its process in our mind. That's why that's a kind of meditation where we are analyzing in our mind. So this kind of thing can be done when our mind is free from hindrances, when it's bright. That's the main prerequisite for this kind of thinking to happen. So that's why we simultaneously try to develop, on the side we try to develop this samadhi and through metta and anapanasati. So we learn to empty the mind, relax a bit, and then we learn to read again, to analyze. So then they go together, reading and meditating. Reading is also meditating, but this is a specific type of the final meditation. But then how you are doing, you learn to apply. Apply and mentally, get the picture of the Dhamma. Then only the right Sati Sambojjhanga, Dhamma Vijaya Bojjhanga start to happen. That Dhamma Vijaya Bojjhanga is this Dhamma, no other Dhamma. This Dhamma that you are analyzing, the Dhammata of the phenomena of Rupa Vedana. So whenever consciousness arises, you know that whatever there is form for that consciousness to arise. Now for example, ear consciousness to arise, the form is the ear, with 4 elements. And the whatever vibration that has come, that belongs to the 4 elements. Apo, Tejo, Vayu, whatever. Yesterday we just looked at that also. So that those 2 were there. And then whatever that, sort of initial awareness that came, that is consciousness, that should be there. And then there is whatever you felt, that is there. Then whatever you perceive is. So they all fall under simply feeling, perception, and so on. So they are factors of consciousness. So each person will have their factors of consciousness arising. But we have given names to those people, those personality and all that. We have given name Gnanaloka. So much clinging, so much identification to this simple process. So now we are beginning to see it as a process, which is actually what is going on. Whatever there are of mental formations, these belong to the mental formation. Whatsoever there is of consciousness, this belongs to the group of consciousness. And it is impossible for anyone to explain the passing out of one existence and the entering into new existence, or the growth, increase and development of consciousness independently of both form, feeling, perception and mental formations. Okay? So you can't find a single moment in samsara where you are not with this Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, samsara, remember. So they are always present. Okay? That's why when we understand this, we have understood everything that is possible to be understood.